there's a theme developing here, okay? There's a theme developing here because what I'm getting for you, Melody, is that you got a sword. You got a sword. So I think you and Teresa would get along great. Okay? So there's a strength, and what I'm saying is like there's an unforgiveness about you. There's an unforgiveness about you that when somebody is done with you, or like you're done with somebody, it's kind of like me. When I'm done with somebody and somebody's outside of my circle, they're dead to me. I've got like a sword. You're very much that same way. Okay, so who are you next to Melody?
I'm Laurie.
Laurie? Okay,
Yes.
you know this about Melody, right?
Yes.
Okay, we need to have that. We need to carry a strong sword in this world. Why? Because we need to take care of grandmother's granddaughter, right? We need to take care of the person that's taking care of everybody else. The way that I'm kind of cold and heartless with people that want to bring me trouble, I'm taking care of my husband's husband. I'm taking care of my parents' son. I'm taking care of my child's father. You think I'm going to have any doubt or hesitation about cutting a person out of my life? I will cut a person out of my life so hard, so fast, and they're never coming back. So, your way that you do this, I want to tell you that you're a role model. Okay? Now, we're going to be raised in this world where we're taught that we have to be doormats, especially women. Right? Women have to be like a doormat. They have to do everything, be everything, solve all the problems, be the bullshit hunter supremes, and put themselves last on the list. You feel in this wonderful way that you are taking care of your heart, your mind, your body, your spirit, all of that, and you understand on a very deep, intuitive level that as you do so, you're taking care of everybody else in that same way. So like my husband and I, when we come together, right? I can't take care of him. He really can't take care of me. The best way that I can take care of our relationship is taking care of me. Do you get that? Okay, so I want to applaud you and commend you for this sword that you carry, because again, there's going to be this cultural conditioning of you having to take everybody's shit. So here's a funny thing. What I'm getting is that you're trying not to be like the women that raised you. You get that?
Yeah.
Okay. There's going to be that conflict. Now, the men who would have raised you are applauding this. Now, do you have brothers?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a fascinating message for you. Friggin' A, the things that I have to say sometimes. You're a better man than the men in your family.
Really?
Okay? And what I mean by that is we think of like how do we say? You better get some snacks, girls. Okay, so what I'm saying is that we kind of expect, we get taught that the men are the tough ones and the women are like the soft, gushy ones and all of that. There's a level of integrity around you, a level of steadfastness and dependability, and part of that comes from the sword you carry, the boundaries that you have, and the way that you take no shit.
That's awesome.
No, I truly just need you to know that that's important for everybody, right?
Yeah.
It's a weird thing because we get raised with all the wrong ideas about womanhood and manhood and all of that. So I'm all a big fan of this DNA test stuff. So whenever you do a DNA test, I gotta tell you this story. Oh my gosh. So I gotta tell you this story so you understand this. My grandmother would tell me this story and she was so proud. My mom, I don't know how many of y'all are local here, but you guys remember a bar in Littleton called Jeremiah's?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So my mom, right, at 19 years old, went drinking with her brothers, and apparently in the 70s it was the thing to do to bar brawl. I don't know. Yeah. So my mom, right, at 19 years old, it took 5 policemen to hold her down, to restrain my mother. Okay. Oh, I know, right? I know. Bless her heart. So, funny thing. And my grandmother loved to tell that story because she had to put the bond up for the farm to go bail her kids out, all of that, right? That she'd always love to tell this. She went to the police station to bail her kids out, and the cop there was like, it took 5 grown men to hold your daughter down. And my grandmother looked right at him and said, if you ever want to call yourself a man again, I would never repeat that story. Now, here's a funny thing. Through the DNA test, right, there's a website that I found where if you upload your raw DNA file, they'll tell you, they've got all these samples of these graves around the world, like warriors and gladiators and kings and all of this. They've taken samples from these bodies, and they can tell you who you're related to. My mom is descended from what's called the Berka Shield Maiden. The Berka Shield Maiden is this woman that they discovered on an island outside of Sweden called Berka. They dug up this grave and it had horses and weapons and games and all of this stuff. It was a military leader, and they were all like, oh, it's a male, of course, until they did her DNA test and found out that this woman, who was like 5'8", was leading armies into battle.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so the stuff that we've been taught about women and their place in this world and all of that, it's not necessarily true, right, or fair. So we're going to be like led, oh, we're going to be the nurturer, we're going to be the caretaker, all of that. The way that you are very cold and decisive in who's in your life and who's not, I got to commend you for that. Okay? Now, what's your name again?
Laurie.
Laurie? Okay, take a page out of her book. Okay? Please take a page out of her book. Now, maybe not as far as Melody. Okay? Because here's a funny thing. I've got a woman, just very sweet, and this might be I get the older dead versus the younger dead, and she's giving me like jams and jellies, like she would have like canned or done something like that. So this could be very much like a grandmother of yours, somebody that was very, very sweet-hearted, very like all of that. You gotta balance the sword with the sweet, okay? Now, around you, I'm seeing dice, like rolling dice. Did you ever play games with Yahtzee with people, anything? You did? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So there's this need to bring these games back into your life, to have this level of play. I'm not sure your relationship, it doesn't matter, but it's
Best friend.
best friends, okay. So this thing here, Melody and Laurie, right? So Laurie, you gotta pick up the sword a little bit. Melody, you gotta pick up the sweet a little bit. Okay? You gotta pick up, you gotta take from each other. And I'm sure you have over the years, but there's something about, okay, you make a great dentist. Are you a dental hygienist or anything like that?
No.
You're not? Okay. Do you know how a person needs to be a nurse, to be a doctor, to be those things? You need to be clinically detached,
Yeah.
right? You'd be a great clinician. What are you? Can I ask? What do you do?
Oh, I'm food service director.
You're a
for
food service
school
director.
district.
Interesting. So there's a level of healing there, a level of caregiving, all of that, but you're all businesswoman. Like, you're all business. Now, that's excellent. It's excellent, right? And I love that because, again, I'm speaking to this conflict inside of you that sometimes you have to, like, say the hard things. You have to do the hard things, and you're going to be like, oh, man, was that too tough? You weren't. You were just right. Now,
She's my boss too.
Alright, so you can, it's true, okay, so you can speak from experience, alright. So then you're gonna also know this, Laurie, because when Melody speaks, people listen. And so when Melody, you're speaking and you tell somebody to do a certain thing, they're like, okay, I will. Do you know this?
Well,
Do you see it?
I see it some, but I hope it's out of respect, not, oh my God.
Well, fear, respect, what's the difference? I don't know. I don't know. It's super important for you to lean into that. It's okay. Now, big on Christmas, big on giving gifts? Okay, you gotta give yourself a gift. And this is important because what they're showing me is like the bottom of the Christmas tree just loaded with gifts, right? Just wanna give and give and give and give and give. But I'm also getting this impression that in the same way that you give to others, you gotta give to yourself, because it doesn't feel like there's many people in your life that are giving to you. So I need you to put you on the Christmas list as well. An interesting thing that I'm hearing is a trip to Cancun. Okay, trip to Cancun.
I know.
What, you want to travel?
Well, yeah, we love surf fishing, we,
Surf
They're
fishing?
getting ready to-
off the ocean on the beach.
Ah,
Fishing,
yes.
surf fishing.
Yes, I'm sure they do that in Cancun, right? So a trip to Cancun, something like that. What I'm also hearing is January. Can you take a break in January?
February, not January.
February, okay, go for the February break. Go through the break after Christmas. So like,
Yeah.
you know, that one, 6 weeks, it's 6 weeks kind of after Christmas break.
Yeah.
You're gonna wanna plan that. Super important because you might get to the point where you can't travel. You know what I mean? Every year we age, we get a little bit more
Right.
frailer and traveling's hard. And it definitely feels like you're at the time in your life where you wanna make sure that you're giving yourself a vacation after your vacation. Do you know what I mean? When you go to vacation and then you get back and I'm exhausted. Okay, So what I'm getting for you, and this is important, you're gonna wanna give yourself 3 days when you get back that you can acclimate back into business, okay? So, you got a whole bunch of time off that you need to use?
Good.
Like 80 hours, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, more than that? It feels like you got a lot of time off that you're not using.
Yeah.
So make sure, take a week off, take a 10-day break, take a week off, 3 days at the end, okay? Very important. Okay, so here's, again, I have to pass this out to everybody so we know this. I have found through this work that there is no such place as hell. There's no lake of fire where we're burning for all eternity because we didn't get baptized or any of that stuff, right? I know, right? But girl, be careful. No. No. So, but I do need to explain to you this. There is suffering in the world of spirit. There is, because there's regret. When we leave our life, we leave our body, we get to the other side of that one-way mirror, we look back on the life we led, the things we did or didn't do. To me, hell is regret. And every day of our life is an opportunity for us to reduce the amount of regret we feel when we pass. So when I say that, you're not going to have much time to do this, I am feeling that, but that's important for you to remember. We're all going to die. Right? We got to remember, we're all going to die. We're going to make the most of the life we're given. And it's super important because it feels like, girl, you were dragging your ass. Just doing the thing, living the life, doing the thing. And if you've got 80 to 120 hours of time off, go use it. You got people like Laurie that work for you? Okay, so they can run the ship while you're gone. Or, you got people that can take care of stuff while you're gone. Go do it. So you gotta let go a little bit. All right, so super important. And I think that's important for everybody to hear that we're all gonna die. And we're all gonna look back on the life we led. And we all have quite a bit of time before we die. We can make the most of this life. We should be. That's what I'm doing. Every day, baby. Every day. Every day. Thank you for showing up. Okay, so clutter causes you anxiety. Clean your house or get a housekeeper. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so especially if the people that you're in the house with aren't going to do it as well, just come to terms with that. If you're not living with somebody who's going to clean your house or stay up on stuff, get a housekeeper or make time to do it yourself or figure out how to not be anxious about it. Okay? You got a porch?
No, I want one.
Okay, got a foyer or a pantry or someplace that you walk into?
Yeah.
Okay. Does the flooring need to be done in there? Okay, that's what I'm seeing. It's like a place where you walk right in. And when I say it has to be done, it feels like, snow water and stuff could be getting underneath it, through the tile or the linoleum or whatever it is. That's not healthy for anybody. You got a woman that is all about, you got a handyman that's living with you?
Oh, yeah, my husband.
As a handyman.
Oh, very, yeah.
Okay. You got a woman that's saying he needs to get off his ass. It's like, when you have a sword, you got like his grandmother figure, got glasses, all of that. She's like, get him off his bum to get him to do this thing. The reason being is, again, when I see building stuff, when I see home stuff, there's a level of it affecting your health.
Okay.
Do you get it? So there's got to be some stuff going on underneath the tiles or things like that. You don't want to wear a mask while you're doing that, kicking it up, all of that. But you should have everything that you want. And then, interesting, once that's all done, build yourself that little bench. You know what I mean? You want the little bench that you can sit down and you want it, but you don't have it? Okay, get that bench, because if your vertigo goes and you're bent over trying to do, you're trying to take off your shoes, you guys are going to want, as you get up there, a place to sit down and take those shoes off. Okay?
When you bring up vertigo, I have it all the time.
It's not funny. It's the thing I do. It's the thing I do. So the reason that they're bringing that up is because get the flooring done. Wintertime's a good time. If this guy's got slower work, he can do the flooring, he can build you the bench. Funny that I'm seeing like the tongue and groove board.
Yeah.
You got some old style house, that sort of thing that the tongue and groove board will go good with. Does he have scraps of tongue and groove board kicking around?
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing. Like, you don't even have to buy new material. You know, your bench is only gonna be up this high. You can do this scraps of tongue and groove board. All of that. The guy could turn what I'm hearing is that guy could turn a pallet into a palace.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Okay, so you can take the scraps and do that with, but I don't want you guys to, one, fall over because you're vertigo, or two, develop any sort of respiratory illness because the water from the rain and the mud and the snow is getting to where it shouldn't be and it's starting to cause mold and all that stuff. Thank you for showing up. Remember the Christmas presents for you, okay? Cancun, baby, Cancun. Kokomo. Where's Kokomo? You know, Kokomo. I don't know. Go. You should, okay?